Hey, hello. Welcome to the Queenager newsletter on Sunday, the 9th of August. This is Eleanor. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today. So, where to begin? I've just come back from swimming in the pond, so I look a bit crazy. But for the first time in a week, it was so lovely to be back in the water, clocking the ducks, my friends, the dusty surface, the reeds, and noting that the chestnut trees are turning brown. I think they've got a blight, and the cherry trees have lost their leaves. It's the minutiae of small difference in a place we know and love so well. And to welcome me back, well, that's how it seemed, a kingfisher streaked azure across the water. Always a blessing. There was also a bit of a freshness in the air again today. It felt quite novel to slip on a cardigan after the coziness of clothes after the endless heat. I hadn't swum for 7 days because I've had really horrid flu. It felt like COVID, properly debilitating, where it's impossible to get out of bed. I lay and sweated and I felt so bad I couldn't even face reading or the radio. I'd been binge watching Rivals again, and in my delirium I dreamed a few times that I was in Rutshire, the trials of Tiggy and Rupert Campbell-Black, feeling rather more real than my actual life. It's funny how plans we've made weeks ago are suddenly cancelled when we're sick. Everything that was supposed to be happening last week, I'm afraid, was put off. And instead, I lay in a feverish puddle, the heat plus menopausal hot flushes plus fever. Pretty hot. I was feeling very sorry for myself. I hate being ill. I reckon I get my energy from chatting and kind of doing things and making things happen. And being confined to bed, unable to do anything, makes me feel miserable, surprisingly quickly. It's not the being alone, really, or the quiet. I'm fine with both of those things on a silent retreat, or if I've chosen them. It's that sense of being unable to do the things I want to do, having no agency or choice in the matter. I'm afraid I'm a terrible patient. So to any of you out there also feeling awful with this grisly flu, or having a mentally hard time, I'm sending you a big hug. This too shall pass. I suppose the upside is that now I feel a lot better. I'm really appreciating the tiny things in life, which are actually really the enormous things, but too often we just take them for granted. Like waking up in the morning and springing out of bed and actually feeling okay, or being able to go to the pond and have my daily swim, not feeling sick and having an aching head and a horrible fever. It's amazing how much we take for granted when we're well. And I'm still in that moment of feeling a deep gratitude for not being confined to my bed. A real sense of thankfulness, also accented by hearing that a really good friend has just been diagnosed with breast cancer. I'm so sorry. And more grimly, an older acquaintance of mine, really awful, ended his own life rather than be moved into a nursing home. Eek, really grim story, sorry to lay that one on you. Really sad. But unfortunately, illness is a part of this time of life. I suppose it's the dark in the light. And acknowledging that makes us see the sweetness in the ordinary. I've been really thinking of that old poem, Gather Ye Rosebuds While Ye May. And in my week of fever, I did manage to do one thing. I dosed up on paracetamol to take the online circle last Tuesday, where we talked about taking stock and the August pause, what I was talking about in the newsletter last week, just that sense of taking a beat to reflect on the first 6 months of the year. And dear Queenagers, you never fail to inspire me. One of you, we were just chatting away on the circle, one of you just dropped in that you were taking a karate black belt and you were the oldest person in the class by about 35 years. I just love that. Rebecca, who was there, told us how rather than keeping a to-do list, she keeps an I've done list to remind herself of everything that she's already achieved. I love that. We spoke a lot about the power of small wins and kind of documenting those small wins, whether that's sweeping the leaves off the terrace or getting to the bottom of the wash basket. The power of those small improvements to make us feel better. I really love that. I think that the small wins really are the stuff of life. All big projects come down to daily small wins. I'm currently winnowing out all my possessions in advance of our downsizing move. fingers crossed we're about to exchange on a new place. I'll tell you all some more about it when it happens. But as someone who always thinks more is more, winnowing out my stuff is a mighty task. And I've been reading up on all sorts of kind of clear out experts and how to tackle it. And what they suggest is tackling one drawer or one small bit of the house a day rather than trying to do that all at once. I'm actually finding that surprisingly helpful. I cleared out all my t-shirts and got rid of at least half, and it felt so good to have a manageable shelf rather than one overflowing and stuffed with so many things that I can never find them and I forget what I have. So for me, small wins really is my current mantra, whether that's writing the book or where you have to eat, writing a book is a nightmare because you really have to eat the elephant one bite at a time because you go crazy. You can't write it all at once. Or indeed starting again at midlife, which is another big theme at the Circle, and I suppose always here at Noon. But there's a lovely lady called Simone who came on our Warwickshire walk and was also at the online Circle, and she talked about her August pause has actually been quite a massive one. She was leaving her corporate role after 27 years. But, and this I found so heartwarming, she said, thanks to Noon and the inspiring stories shared here about moving on, she said, I don't feel scared or sad. I feel excited about the next phase of my life because I've seen so many other women through Noon really flourishing. So thanks, Simone. When I set up Noon and I wrote my book, Much More to Come, I did it so that others facing huge midlife upheaval and transition wouldn't feel alone and all at sea as I did. And so to hear from one of you so spontaneously that what we've created really made a difference for you in exactly that kind of shift really makes it all worthwhile. It was the high point of my week, so thanks a lot. And also Simone is going to be setting up a Shropshire Circle for us. And another small win, which was also a big topic at the Circle, was about remembering to embrace all the joy we can get out of life in whatever way that shows up. Many of us are being faced, and many of us on the Circle are being faced with caring situations. In that online group, I think about a quarter of you were caring for partners or parents who don't have much time left. And one of you said it's easy to fall into the sense of the grind. Caring takes up so much time, it's so repetitive, you can get lost in the monotony of it. But she said, I also try to remember that the caring is the love, that my dear mum doesn't have that much time left, that actually this is precious time. I thought that was so wise. I truly believe, having cared for my stepfather as he was dying, that being there during that time, really feeling like there is nothing more we could have done or that needed to be said, that we really have done all that we could, is a huge boon in the inevitable grief after someone we really love dies. And these are the things that we remember. In fact, they're the bits of life that in the end really matter. So big love to all of you who are doing that. And what also came out of the online Circle, perhaps its biggest theme, was the importance of sitting in the uncertainty during transitions. Now, we talk about this a lot at Noon, but it was a big one this week. 3 of the ladies were talking about being in the fog, being in that place of really not knowing what the future will bring. And of course, when we're faced with that fog, the easy thing is to revert to what's already known, to say jump back into the kind of job that we had before, or move back to the place where we've lived before, or cleave to whatever really is familiar. But to find what's really going to truly serve us as the next phase of our life takes more time and courage than just reverting to what has been normal. It's a bit like children who need to be bored to get creative. Sometimes we need to feel a bit lost, a bit unsure, a bit open to things we didn't think were for us in order to try the things we haven't thought of before. And that means that we have to follow little glimmers or hints or randomness, which might just take us to where we need to be. That sounds a bit woolly, but what I mean is that, so during my own kind of time of feeling lost in that transition, I just decided to say yes to all sorts of things I'd never tried before. Yes, the magic mushrooms that I've written about, silent retreats, new people, starting a business. But it was all about following an internal compass, which said that I just didn't want another job in my old industry, that I wanted to do something new, something different. It was terrifying. I had no idea back then what any of this would actually be or if it would work. you just have to step out. So I just moved from one small win to the next, trying to do things that made me feel good. So I started swimming every day, and I started just doing kind of different things that I'd never tried before. And I really sought out what were genuinely new experiences to me. And there aren't too many of those by the time you reach 50. And I also think that after years of career programming or being in a relationship or whatever it is which ends, whatever it is that ends at this point and means we set out on a new path. And what's really clear is that whatever has been at the centre of our world in the run up to midlife, that is the thing that will fall away. And so we need to give ourselves time to tune in to the new rhythm, to listen to the new thing which is calling us, the thing which is being born, to give our awakening self time to emerge. And the truth is that emergence takes time. We can't do that by jumping back into what is familiar. And so the way through the fog is small wins, small brave steps into the unknown, feeling in our bodies what feels right and trying to ignore the anxious storm in our minds and all the noise which is saying go back to the kind of thing which is safe. So really hooray for all you brave ladies who are courageously taking your time to find the next thing, feeling your way. It's hard when the world keeps asking, what are you going to do next? But it's also liberating to say, I don't know. I'm finding out. I'm trying a few things out. Just let yourself be putty, as my friend Claire Dubois calls it, for a while and try out a few new shapes before you decide which one to settle for more permanently. And in my experience, it's never what you think. And it's an ongoing, unfurling process. In fact, one of my recent small wins was something really small. It's a new kind of swimming costume. It's called a wooker, and I was sent it randomly in the post, much to the amusement of my children. It goes down to mid-thigh, and it looks a bit like a kind of weightlifting or roller skating costume. I feel a bit like a kind of, ninja. But I love it. It feels streamlined and rather chic. It was very much admired at the ladies' pond, and it also absorbs all kind of period stuff or if you've got bladder problems, kind of pee. So good if you're in the perimenopause. And they do a good range for teens too, which are kind of like period pants and stuff. I love these companies which are actually thinking about women's real lives. And so I'm really happy to give Wooker a shout out. You check out the pictures if you'd like to see what it looked like. And I really recommend it. It feels great to swim in. So thanks so much for listening. I'm really glad that I'm feeling better. Wherever you are, I hope you are staying cool. We're going to have another heat wave next week, and enjoying your summer. And do make sure you take a bit of a pause. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for spending some time with me today on the Sunday or whenever it is. And enjoy the rest of your week. And do check out what we're doing at noon.org.uk. Really hope to see you at one of our events sometime soon. Take care. Bye.